The North provides opportunity, beauty, and a unique lifestyle for its residents. Some of the things that make life in the North unique, like crisp winter days and living surrounded by wilderness, also have their challenges. One of these challenges is finding an affordable way to heat our homes without harm to our natural environment. Many Northerners use diesel fuel to heat their homes, but diesel is expensive and damaging to the environment. Diesel has to be trucked and barged into our communities across water and over highways and ice roads. Not only does this increase the cost of an already expensive energy source, it's hard on the environment. When diesel is burned, either to get the fuel to our communities or in our homes, it creates carbon dioxide, which is harmful to our environment. If spilled during transport or use, diesel, a toxic substance, can pose a real environmental threat to our water, plants, and animals. The government of the Northwest Territories is working with Northerners to reduce their cost of living and their impact on the environment. One way is by listening to the wisdom of our elders and using wood as a natural, clean, renewable energy source.
Many years ago, our people lived out on land all their life. Traditionally, culturally, spiritually, and our way of life was very important to us.
We've been burning wood for thousands of years. It's a part of life on the land and an important part of traditional lifestyles here in the North. Times may have changed, but heating our homes with wood still makes sense today, especially with new ways to do it better and more efficiently.
Every day I go and I get a load of wood for myself. I got a big pile back here. Cut up. I cut out in the bush, blocks, and I put it there.
For me, was raised up with by my grandparents and having to stay where they had to harvest their own wood. It was a daily thing. It had to be. That's what they kept going.
You gotta have the right wood. Like myself, I burn jack pine and dry jack pine, and it really heats a house good, and it keeps the house warm. I mean, like it burns for a long time.
You don't just cut any dry wood. It's got to have the grain. It's got to be the right way. Yeah, so it can't be twisted, and it's harder to split.
I like cutting wood. That's my life, you know. And keep in shape, in other words.
It also gets you active too. You do the things that you never did for so long. All of a sudden you have to train yourself to go back into hauling wood, cutting wood, carrying wood in, and you know, those are the good things. You don't miss out on waiting for the furnace to go on and heat up for a few minutes and then go back off.
20 below or 25 below, I'd go for it. Make me feel good. And my boy said do the same thing, because I raised him that way.
So the benefits of burning wood is it's clean, efficient energy, and the other thing is we save a lot of money. The other thing is that we always haul it in. We have to use skidoos and sleigh, which is cheaper than buying fuel all the time.
There are lots of good reasons to burn wood or wood pellets, whether as your main source of heat or as a secondary heating source. It will save you money and is better for the environment. The cost of diesel fuel will likely continue to rise over time and supplies will drop. But wood is available in or close to many of our communities. Burning wood is less harmful to the environment than burning diesel fuel. Wood is easy, affordable to get, and it's renewable. If well managed, it should never run out.
There is a point where fuel itself is about the same price as wood, if not a little bit cheaper. But what we've been seeing in recent years with the increasing cost of fuel oil is that as fuel oil increases, wood and pellets, wood in general, becomes a lot cheaper and therefore more attractive to the consumers.
Cost me operating a chainsaw and the gas to go get the wood, and the wood's not very far away, about 5-6 kilometer round trip. So if I spend $500 at the most, that'd be a lot.
I mean, the amount of money we saved burning pellets compared to oil, it's just phenomenal. I mean, especially when oil was quite expensive a few years ago.
We're trying to cut down on the fuel, and you'll notice that the majority of this community, especially the ones that own their own house, every one of them have a big pile of wood in front of their place.
you're probably looking at about 60%, 70% of the cost of fuel when you're burning wood. So you're saving about 30% on that. More if you cut the wood yourself.
So it's really good. You heat your home, you have the temperature that you want in your home, and it's sort of welcoming when you go into someone's home and they have wood stove burning.
Oh, the quality of heat is the same as the oil-fired furnace because it's a radiator inside the plenum of the oil-fired furnace, which basically the same quality of heat.
The heat that I get from wood is much more comforting than the heat that I get from oil, and that's one of the main reasons why I burn wood. Not only the cost.
I think that everybody should get back to it because it doesn't harm the environment.
The reason why wood is renewable is because as long as there's sustainable forest management, best practices being employed with the managing of our forests, when we burn wood, the carbon dioxide stored in the wood is released once we're burning it, but then it's being absorbed by other trees, and so there's a cycle. We're not adding more carbon dioxide to the atmosphere, making the greenhouse gas effect larger.
It's a benefit of burning wood, is you save a lot of energy, and it's clean energy that you're burning too.
There's more to heating with wood than splitting logs and throwing them into the stove. You need to burn wood efficiently and safely.
You can set back the thermostat on your furnace so that it only kicks in at a particular temperature. That's like your backup system, and then actually use your wood stove for comfort heating to bring the home up to room temperature. The best way to burn locally wood is in a high efficient wood stove. There's large systems like these wood outdoor boilers. A smaller system than that would be a wood burning furnace that people can have in their house and still have the forced air heat to heat their home. There are efficient wood burning furnaces that people can have installed. And of course, most common is the wood stove.
We wanted to try to minimize our carbon footprint. We didn't want to have an oil tank on premises. And said, well, why don't we look at this pellet product? And so we shipped it up here and fired it up, and we haven't looked back since. So probably the best thing about pellets is that it's made from waste. It's made from waste from lumber mills.
Pellets right now are relatively cheap, and they're easy to get. There really seems to be an increasing demand in that.
Converting to a wood pellet system is not difficult. What you have to do is make sure that you follow the codes properly, and you hire the right person to do the job, or the right company. Hopefully they've done it before, so they know all the tricks, and also the regulations that you need to follow, and what permits you need to get.
It's not just homes that can benefit from new technologies. Large-scale boilers can provide heat to commercial and industrial buildings. When Ecole St. Joseph School in Yellowknife required a retrofit, they invested in pellet technology.
In trying to design the retrofitted school, we realized that we had to put more fresh air into the school, and in order to put in more fresh air, you need to heat more air. So the wood pellet boiler, which is located just outside the school, really made sense for us in terms of ensuring we had enough heating capacity. The first fill-up cost us about the equivalent of 35 cents a litre. So, and the last fuel oil we paid was about 80 cents a litre. So it's less than half. The cost of the wood pellets compared to the price of fuel oil at this time is less than half. So it's considerable savings. If you were outside and watching the wood pellet boiler running right now, you could see what looks like smoke coming out of the stack. It's mostly steam. Like, you can hardly even smell that it's a wood fire going on out there. It's a very clean fuel.
There are a number of safety considerations homeowners should be aware of when using wood as a heating source.
You want to make sure that the installer and that the homeowner is aware of the clearances, the distance between that appliance, your wood stove, and to the walls, to the ceiling, to the floor. You want to make sure that that is followed. One, it's the law, and secondly, it's a major safety concern. As you're restocking your fire, that some embers, hot embers, will roll out. And if you have a hearth pad there, it's no problem. It's not a combustible surface. You can shovel the embers back into the fire. That metal pail should be stored on top of ideally a concrete or brick pad and covered. A good rule of thumb is if you have more than a 1/4 inch of creosote, or that black deposit on the inside of your flue at the top of the chimney, because that's where it builds up the fastest, then you're due for a cleaning.
To prevent this, you need to be burning the proper type of wood, as well as higher quality pellet will burn cleaner.
Seasoning is absolutely key, because if you don't have seasoned wood, like wood that's been literally left outside to have the wind and sunlight hit it for a year, it's not seasoned wood. And so then it's wet wood, and wet wood, the heat, significant portion of that heat is actually being used to boil the water that's in the wood, that's in the fuel. So you're wasting heat just to boil off water. And it's making for these huge plumes of smoke that hovers along and upsets your neighbors.
Well, I think it's safe. It's really safe to have a wood burning stove. Like, as long as you look after it, it'll look after you. It'll warm you up, keep you warm.
One of the nice things about wood in and of itself is that it's a renewable resource. Unlike fossil fuels, which take a long time to actually be created, and there's a lot of effort and work put into getting them out of the ground.
Those of us who live in the north face the challenge of the high cost of heating our homes in the winter. We live in a cold climate, our winters are long, the cost of diesel fuel is high, and it needs to be transported north from southern Canada. But there are ways to meet these challenges. Using wood to heat our homes is one of those ways. Wood is renewable, available, and better on the environment. And it's easy.
Wood is relatively easy to get to. It's got a reproductive cycle of anywhere from, say, 90 to 120 years before you can cut it again. And as long as things are cut on a sustainable basis, it'll keep renewing itself, and it'll always be available for people to use.
Most energy in the NWT is actually for space heating. And the readily traditional, cheap way to use renewable energy to meet this need of space heating is wood.
So I think that's the best way to go, is start burning wood, because you get your members involved in the harvesting of renewable resources. The renewable resource will grow again.
Take the initiative to do things on your own when it comes to wood, burning wood for your home. And heating costs too. Heating cost goes way down.
I think everybody should be getting back to burning wood, so that the next generation will know how and why they should use the wood, because you can't keep contributing to global warming by burning fossil fuels.
There's wood, all kinds of wood up the peel and down the river and across under the hill. I know where to get wood, so I go hunt it. I just look for wood, and it's there for us to use.